Être un bon traiteur, c'est être intransigeant sur la qualité. On ne fait du bon qu'avec le meilleur. C'est être impitoyable sur les recettes. Quand c'est bon, il n'y a rien à ajouter, rien à enlever. C'est être irréprochable sur le goût. Il faut prendre du plaisir pour en donner. Voilà, pour être un bon traiteur, il faut être intraitable.
Parfaitement intraitable.
Well, a very good morning and welcome to Portimão for the start of prototype racing action here in the Algarve, where we're kicking things off with the European Sprint Prototype Cup for second generation LMP3 machinery. 5 cars taking to the grid, a mixture of Ligier, Ginetta and Duqueine machinery. And it is Ben Stone in the Breton run Ligier that will be starting at the head of the field in this one. A 55-minute race to come as the pace car peels off to start the formation lap. And then the green flag being waved, although Ben Stone not going anywhere in a hurry. There he goes, eventually pootles off the pole position slot. So there, the black and white Ligier there of Ben Stone will be starting on pole position. A second car from ARC Bratislava this weekend. It's Miro Konopka's son Adam, who starts the number 4 Ligier, just ahead of Miro in 44. John Brownson starting the DKR Engineering Duqueine, and then Martin Bohm in the MG Sound Studio Ginetta. Normally sharing that car with Andreas Fjotik, but perhaps Andreas is not here this weekend because Martin did both qualifying sessions, so certainly a shame. It was a 1:47.68 for Ben Stone, the bronze-rated driver, a car that he shares with Ewan Thomas, who's in his first year of prototype racing. And of course, John Brownson will be handing over his car in the second half of the race to Lawrence Hoare. Great opportunity for these drivers to get some additional track time, especially for the bronze drivers, in what is essentially the same building blocks as the current LMP3 cars, but with different aerodynamics and a different engine. Benstone, very experienced LMP3 racer in Michelin Le Mans Cup. We'll be starting on driver's right of the inside line for that first corner. Pasquale will peel off to the right-hand side into pit lane, get the rolling start underway. Sunday morning here in the Algarve, and these beautiful green hills are about to be echoing the sounds of Nissan V8. One of the best sounding engines in motorsport, as Benstone leads into the first corner with competition from Adam Konopka around the outside. Remember that Adam is the silver graded driver, Benstone the bronze. But he leads onto the back straight for the first time. Going into turn 5, there was actually a little look there from Adam Konopka. ARC Bratislava, of course, known for running this machinery, but also LMP2 as well, as they dip in and out of various competitions. Benstone starting to build a little bit of an advantage now in that cracking looking Breton machine. Just enjoy the sound of the VK56 5.6 litre V8 engine for a little bit, because it is absolutely sensational. And having now heard the replacement Orica built Toyota based twin turbo V6 engine that is in the 3rd generation machines over in the European Le Mans Series and the Michelin Le Mans Cup, it does still sound fantastic. But last time I saw these cars out in Paul Ricard, we hadn't had the first round of those championships just yet, but I don't think they shake the earth quite like these V8s do. You definitely know when they're going around the Tour of Hairpin, which is the closest corner to where we're sat at the moment. It's nice to see Adam Konopka back in the championship as well. And we last saw him out in their LMP3 car in Hockenheim last year in the European Endurance Prototype Cup, back when we ran a combination of the Novas and LMP3 cars in one race. Father Miro was involved in that one as well. Of course, not normally seeing these guys out in the Eastern European Championships. And John Brownson's doing a great job to stick with these guys at the moment. 3.8 seconds back in the Duqueine, which I'm told is quite a different beast now. Their 3rd generation machine, a lot more friendly to the bronze drivers. The general consensus was that the Duqueine was marginally quicker car, but a bit more of a knife edge, whereas the Ligier, the reason it sold in the numbers it did and dominated the grid numbers as it did for that period was because it was a sort of perfect combination of speed and drivability. Of course, in LMP3 competition now with the ACO, we have all 4 manufacturers represented, with even Adess are back out there thanks to Nielsen Racing. And I was trying to work out the last time I saw an Adess in anything, but the AD25 has been going quite well, in fact. So certainly the variety of machines, Adam Konopka has a little wobble into turn 13, but the variety of machines certainly has increased out there with the introduction of those 3rd generation cars, the 3.5 litre twin turbo V6, which of course meant manufacturers needed to change the layout, cooling, that then changes the aerodynamics as well. But it's been a very entertaining start to the season over there with the new G61, the JSP 325, the AD25, and the D09 Duqueine as well. Worth remembering, of course, there is a mandatory pit stop between the 25th and 35th minute in this race, where there'll be a driver swap for 2 of the cars. That's Ben Stone handing over to Ewan Thomas. Ralph Micatry not racing here this weekend, so Ben Stone filling in as the bronze driver aboard the number 26, and then of course Lawrence Hoare, a multiple Le Mans Cup and European Le Mans Series champion. John Brownson, a champion in his own right as well over in the States, in the IMSA Prototype Challenge. John and Lawrence raced together here last year in the 6 hours of Portimão, the European Endurance Prototype Cup race. Seem to remember it not ending too terribly well for them. In fact, I think we had a couple of cars from DKR Engineering that weekend. Certainly one of them got into a spot of bother. Running in the Prototype Winter Series together as well, which of course races here, so Brownson should be quite familiar with this circuit by now, having also raced here in Le Mans Cup with the DKR squad. I will say the 71-year-old not doing too badly out there at the moment. If I could do a 1:43.8 around this track in an LMP3 car, I'd be mighty happy with that. Fastest lap of the race done by Ben Stone, a 1:42.605. That's just gone over the timing line again. Extends his lead to 3.1 seconds. Claire Cottingham's with me in the commentary box. Claire, it's nice to have these the V8s out here, because they are. You can tell when they're on track. I was trying to do a podium yesterday while they were doing their qualifying session, and you have to wait for them to blast past the straight before you can get on with it.
Yeah, they're loud cars. It's nice to have them as a showpiece on the calendar in general, on the package in general. It's lovely to hear them. Hopefully throughout the season we might pick up a few cars to come join the party. But yeah, it's been lovely hearing them thundering around this incredible circuit. And speaking of the circuit, the amount of drivers, I've been a bit wide there for car number 44, but a little bit of the gravel. But speaking to so many of the drivers around here, some of them it's their first ever time around this track, some of them it's they've been here time and time after again, and every single driver that I've spoken to has concluded that this has got to be one of their most favourite tracks in living time, and it's true, it's such a beautiful track. And I think there is something for everyone, and it's even, you know, on a smaller grid like that, you can still kind of enjoy it, because you're watching such beautiful machinery going around one of the most beautiful tracks in the world. So yeah, it's still giving us a nice little showcase of the sounds and the smells of these cars. And yeah, be interested to see what happens with the driver changes.
Yeah, I must agree on the circuit. It is an absolutely crackerjack, modern classic is how I like to describe it, because it has all of those modern facilities, but also the feel of an old school circuit as well, with the various undulations and elevation changes that
just don't make tracks like it.
No, they don't, do they?
I mean, they don't really make tracks as much. It costs a lot of money, but and the infrastructure. I was thinking about this the other day, because there's so many tracks that we go to that are in the middle of nowhere. But yet in the UK, if you travel to any UK tracks, Brands Hatch is in the middle of a residential area, Crofts in the middle of a residential. So you can't race after a certain time, because there's limitations, obviously, with sound and things like that. But then you come out to here and these sorts of places, and you are basically in the middle of nowhere, about 20 minutes from the seaside, and you can hear these cars until, you know, midnight if you wanted to. But it makes you think how much space you have to put around you when you build a track. Yeah,
because when you look around, it's just hills and greenery. Which I mean, it's great for us. It's difficult if you want to just grab a burger at 10 o'clock at night, but it does mean
the beauty of it, though, isn't it? You're in the middle of nowhere.
It does mean we get to listen to these cars. I've dug up where DKR finished or didn't finish when they raced in the 6 hours last year, and yeah, there was a retirement 59 laps into their race, sadly. Trying to remember for the life of me, I think there was I've been getting some of what happened with them confused with the BHK Motorsport machine, because that was also a Duqueine, a similar looking Duqueine as well. But yeah, DKR came here for the 6 hours last year and didn't quite make the finish. Because last year as well we had Team Virage as well competing in that championship.
Just talk about Team Virage, weren't we?
Yeah, we were.
Still, here at a very small capacity in the Formula Cup category, but not so much in the bigger categories anymore. And it's definitely a team that I do miss. Champions last year, and they were a great setup.
Absolutely was, and of course both cars fighting for the LMP3 Championship last year, and it's nice to see those drivers moving on. Got Georgios Karlovos, of course, now racing in LMP3 with Lawrence Hoare, in fact, alongside Thomas Laurent.
It's like we planned that one.
Yeah. Great to have. Yeah, great to see where he's been going. Of course, Axel Noss. I think he's competing in Le Mans Cup now as well. But the other car, as well. What was it? What was the other Virage car? It was the 88, wasn't it? Yes.
88
yeah, Jacek Zielonka competing in European Le Mans Series now, still in LMP3 competition, but
enjoying a bit of success as well over there, isn't he?
Yeah, I think it's not been going too badly for him actually. I think maybe I should check.
He was one of the best characters on the grid, was Jacek Zielonka. And
first person I met in the paddock, Jacek was.
I think he was one of the first people I properly met, because we were staying. It was here. My first race for the Ultimate Cup was here in Portimão, because it was slightly different on the calendar. It was second on the calendar rather than third. And you and I had popped down to have some food, I believe, in the hotel bar that's nearby, and I think he was there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we had.
But he was there on a different day as well, wasn't he? Because he was there after the prototype race, but then also he was there. I remember meeting him before that, because we spoke about, obviously, last year I had quite a big shunt here, a couple of hours into the race.
Yes, definitely caught up with him after the 6 hours, because he retired from that race. It was contact, I think, with the PHK car down into turn 1. So I haven't. Hang on. I was looking for Jacek, wasn't I?
Yes, you were.
Because
doing
yeah, so I was because I was looking up Le Mans Cup first because I can't. Well, I completely forgot as well. Pierre-Alexandre Provost is currently the championship leader down in Le Mans Cup.
Ultimate Cup success story.
Yeah, we saw him in the MV2S Nova last year. He's now with CLX Motorsport, formerly of Cool Racing, and in fairness, they have been dominating Le Mans Cup this year. The CLX Motorsport, they are now, which was already Cool Racing was just a sort of brand name. It was always CLX Motorsport that was running the because it's I can't remember what the X is, but it's Quani Lapierre. So Alexandre Quani was the co-owner of the old team, and then Nicolas Lapierre is the other co-owner of that team. Yes, he has.
Whenever you say Cool Racing, though, have you ever watched Grease 2?
No. You're barking up the wrong tree here.
There's a song in it, and they go, Cool Racing, and that's all I ever hear.
Okay, well, maybe that was the inspiration for Alex Quani's team there. I do kind of feel burdened to mention that the reason it was called Cool Racing was because Alexandre Quani's brand Cool Aviation was the main backer behind that one.
It was Cool Rider. Cool. Do you know, I've never seen Grease 2. It's actually just my niece always sings it to me. It just comes up to me. So anyway, I only ever hear that when I hear Cool Racing. Sorry, carry on.
I don't know what you're doing, subjecting your niece to that kind of.
I didn't make her watch it. Oh, look, she's got her own mind.
Well, child services need to be called.
God.
So there's
Grease. Everyone loves a bit of Grease.
Oh, the first one maybe, but the second one.
The second one, I think you'll find, had Michelle Pfeiffer in it.
Oh, did it? I have no idea. Didn't watch it. I've got other.
Ooh, right. It's very early in the morning here.
Shall we go back to Ultimate Cup success stories?
No.
Because of course, David Drew. This is not so much an Ultimate Cup success story, but more of just a sort of fun tidbit of information. Because David Drew also races here in Ultimate Cup. He is. Second in the championship in the Le Mans Cup as well with Cedric Ultramar. Sasha Lehmann still with Team Virage in Le Mans Cup. He's sharing a car with Theo Mercury this year, and what's nice, these are all sort of the new all-pro lineup, so you can have an LMP3 now because it used to be a pro and a bronze, but now you've got all-pro lineups, which has actually, I think, really reinvigorated the platform. A lot of people are much more interested in it now. Your friend Romain Favre.
Romain Favre.
Was racing with Inter Europol.
Grown up.
He's with the VPS team, so the Mathieu Vaxivière run outfit with Louis Rousset. They've been on the podium this year. There's another one. Oh, Axel Noss.
Axel, he was here in Mugello.
He was racing in Mugello. He's racing with A&S Motorsports full time this year.
He smashed his stint as well.
Oh, really?
He had done no testing. He turned up because he got the call that morning of practice day. Got the call, came over, and had not tested the car. Jumped in for qualifying. Set a blistering time. I can't remember where they started in the end, but he set a brilliant time in his stint. And then they ended up, I believe, on the podium. I'm going to have to check that again, but they had a great race.
No, I think you're right. The Kraft car was on the podium in Mugello.
Famously, I have unless I have the notes in front of me, my memory will just...
Oh, don't you worry, I'm exactly the same. I've also just noticed Charles Roussin is on the Le Mans grid. I commentated on his championship-winning Alpine Alpha Cup season last year. That's really nice to see. Of course, other ones, Thomas Imborg with CD Sport and Arthur Rojon. They're sharing a car this year, and Rojon is the full season driver in one of their Novas for this year, but is out with injury for this weekend. So Thomas Imborg is rejoining the Nova squad for this weekend. And I've got DKR Engineering have Wyatt Bricacek and Freddie Tomlinson, who we've seen out in Ultimate Cup competition as well. Of course, Wyatt Bricacek was with us in Mugello last year because we had a real influx of entries for the 4 hours of Mugello last year because the European Le Mans Series and Le Mans Cup were going to Mugello for the first time ever about 2 weeks after we were. So everybody came to us for a little bit of testing, and frankly, people wanted to do some testing, and then we ended up under red flag for 2 hours. Now, what's happened here with John Brownson? Oh, little front left lockup going into turn 13, easily done. And of course, Freddie Tomlinson, we saw out multiple occasions, mainly with his old man.
Yeah.
In GT Endurance, they were driving the Ginetta GTX car. So, of course, DKR Engineering is now now running Ginetta machinery in LMP3. So it makes sense that Freddie Tomlinson is there
with his dad. Sorry, the Ginetta. It was almost like I heard names and didn't actually put it in. His father, I saw. Did they come back for Paul Ricard? Which one were they at? I saw Lawrence recently. Was it to the end of last year?
They were definitely at Magny-Cours. I don't remember seeing them at Paul Ricard.
Yeah,
so.
And actually it was really lovely to see them back because they came back, got in, set some great times, got on the podium and went home.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed seeing them. So hopefully we'll get the Tomlinson family back in the fold.
It was great to see them. I think they were on the podium as well in GT Endurance. And correct me if I'm wrong, Freddie Tomlinson was also part of the CMR Ginetta lineup in this race last year, as well in the 6 hours, because he was sharing it with all the Ginetta.
That was Mike Simpson.
Yeah, so Mike Simpson was definitely in the car. I'm pretty sure Freddie and Nico were supposed to be in that car.
They had 2 Ginettas in there. Car number 20 was Senan Fielding.
Yes, maybe it was with Senan. Hang on, I have the results here actually.
Yeah,
Let me. I'll look for the one that expired because that was the
12. They were car 12.
Car 12. No, so car 12 was the Nico Prost one. There was a second one. There was a 62. Here we go.
62. That was it. 62.
It was Senan Fielding and Mike Simpson.
Yes.
It wasn't Freddie Tomlinson. Excuse me. I think it was Ross Bentley. But yeah, so we did see Freddie out in GT Endurance at the very least.
You know, even just going through that, we've gone through that for 5 minutes now, and it does show you how many use this platform to get more airtime and get more car time, and showing the caliber of driver that get involved in Ultimate Cup as well. A lot of them are doing other programs alongside this, and with the European prototype, less of the European Sprint Prototype Cup race, but more of the Endurance Prototype, which we're about to come. We see some really good faces of motorsport at the moment.
Absolutely. Just checking in with how Ben Stone's season has gone so far with Breton Racing in a car that he shares with Dane Aronson.
We know Dane. Oh, Dane!
Dane from Inter Europol competition at the end of last year.
Yes, and he got on the podium.
They won like 2 races in a row at the end of last season.
They had an absolute smasher on the final race in Paul Ricard, and Dane is being coached actually by one of my very good friends, who is a commentator for the Netherlands in Formula One, and by all accounts, I trust my friend a lot. He's a very good guy, and he was a very family-oriented guy that came here with his family and fought incredibly hard and managed to pick up some podiums. And this is the thing, there's so many drivers out there that are incredibly good talents, but the budget's just not there, or the seats aren't there, or the opportunities aren't there. So it's always good to see when a young driver comes in and can prove how good they are. Like Lucas Tolman in Tailman in the Sprint Cup.
Yes.
Or yesterday.
That was a really, really great moment. I came back from the podium to find him in the swimming pool here. That is
he was a happy
just behind the front straight here at Portimão. He was definitely a very happy driver. Yeah, so Ben Stone and Dane Aronson sharing a car in Le Mans Cup. I'm afraid it's not gone too well for them so far. A retirement and a 12th place finish so far in the 2 races.
Do you?
No, I don't. I'm just saying it's not been a very rewarding season. Pit window is open, and Ben Stone is the first to bring the 26 Breton Racing Ligier into the box, and there you see young Ewan Thomas ready to take over, but no big rush because we have minimum stationary times. So Ewan Thomas, who has been very impressive in what has been his first season of prototype racing, and only his 2nd season of car racing as well. The 17-year-old Brit, who last year was racing in the Mazda MX-5 Super Cup, the BRSCC run series. That was his first year of car racing, having started karting at the age of 14 in 2021. So think about it, only his 5th year racing full stop, and he was the top rookie as the youngest driver in the X30 Seniors British Kart Championship. Studying in the Motorsport UK Academy at Loughborough College as well at the moment. So away he goes. John Brownson also into pit lane and handing over the DKR Engineering Duqueine to Lawrence Hoare, the gold-rated 27-year-old German driver, who this year is racing in LMP2 with Georgios Kolovos, who we were talking about earlier. I know him from Ultimate Cup competition last year, and Thomas Laurent. Started off this season also racing with Job van Utrecht in Asian Le Mans Series. After winning 3 LMP3 titles on the bounce in 2019, 2020, La Michelin Le Mans Cup, and then stepping up to the European Le Mans Series and winning the championship again there. He's been racing in LMP2 since then, and all of his success coming with the DKR squad, having initially started in Le Mans Cup with CD Sport. But again, Lawrence Hoare, another driver to come up through the ranks of this paddock, so to speak, in the predecessor to Ultimate Cup, the V2V. Well, he was racing in the Monoplace series, and multiple race winner there, finished 2nd in the championship back in 2017. Into the pits, Martin Bohm and Adam Konopka, you can see. Konopka gets released back out into the racetrack. No surprise that Laurens Hoare gets onto the racetrack and just immediately starts absolutely lighting up the timing screen. So imagine it'll be between him and Ewan Thomas for the win. 26 seconds currently separate them. So let's see if Laurens Hoare can close in that gap in the final 25 minutes. It's Martin Bowen back out onto the racetrack, so just Miro Konopka yet to do his stop. Fastest lap of the race has now been done by Ewan Thomas, young silver class driver. Into the pits comes Miro Konopka. But yeah, no surprise that best lap time immediately beaten by Laurens Hoare. He's gone 0.8 quicker, 1:40.2. Cleaner the screen and everything all right, Miro? Yeah, all good. So Adam Konopka's come out in between Hoare and Ewan Thomas, so he'll have to try and work his way around it, but he's currently 1.7 seconds quicker than Adam Konopka. Saw the dab of Oppo there from Ewan Thomas. Well, really cars that enjoy sliding, these LMP3 machines, because, well, a heft to them. So Miro Konopka's rejoined the circuit. I'll put Ewan Thomas back into the lead of the race. See how he's driving this Ligier. Of course, learning an awful lot as he goes along. As I say, only his 5th year racing, full stop, including karting. 2nd year of car racing. Another fastest lap being done by Laurens Hoare, 1:39.6. Actually, Miro Konopka has jumped his son Adam in that pit stop phase. 2.1 ahead, so Lawrence Hoer's got a little bit of work to do to clear the cars in front of him. He's currently 4.9 behind Adam. Wasn't a particularly quick lap last time around for him, 1:43.0. Thomas doing another personal best on 1:40.8. He's about to come across the timing line again, and I think do another one. Yeah, 1:40.7. Still not quite able to match the pace of Lawrence Hoer, but with decent advantage. It's just about the length of the entire pit straight. He was just going into turn one as Lawrence Hoer was coming out of the final corner. There is Lawrence Hoer. Closing in on the Konopkas. Now that Claire's back in the box, I can...
Sorry, I did a little runner.
Yes, that's okay. It was well worth it. I noticed you didn't come back with a drink for me, but that's fine.
Drink coffee. Actually, now I've thought about it, I'm also absolutely parched for some water, so I will dive out the next door and get us a drink.
It's okay. I'll make sure I get one before the start of the Endurance Prototype Cup race. We were wondering how Jacek Zielonka is getting on in the car that he's sharing with Daniel Nogales and Rick Cohen at Team Virage. It's going okay. An 8th place finish and a retirement so far for him this year in the European Le Mans Series.
I follow him on social media, and I think, every driver says it's not their fault, but I believe it maybe wasn't. It's always difficult, isn't it, especially with endurance racing, because a retirement or a DNF could just be that the car exploded rather than anything that they've done.
But also, Le Castellet was a particularly wild weekend with the rain at the start of the race. There was split strategy. Some cars were on slicks, some cars were on rain tyres. We'll come back to that in a moment, because Lawrence Hoer is about to give us some action down the inside into the Tora VIP hairpin, and he passes Adam Konopka for 3rd position, so passes the son. Soon he'll be on the back of the father. No Holy Spirit, though.
There was so much that I had in my head then, and it immediately fell out. Yeah, I feel for when you look at... Oh, hang on, replay.
Yeah, so this was a little moment that Adam had coming out of turn 3, which did help Lawrence Hoer set up the move out of turn 4 and into 5.
But when obviously you and I do quite a lot of research for various different championships, and you can kind of look at it, if you're following it quite, aggressively, you can kind of go, oh yeah, but they had a bad turn, they had a bad race in one, because, like, for example, looking into Ultimate Cup with Aaron Ferrazzano, who hurt his back during qualifying, missed a race. If you hadn't watched that or didn't know, then you would kind of be like, oh, well, he had a bit of a rubbish first race in Portimão, didn't he? Obviously crashed in qualifying, if that's what happened, and then, didn't race because the car was too damaged in the first, do you want to take that?
Yeah, just changed for a second. Miro Konopka being passed by Lawrence Hoare. So it's in the space of a lap that he's been able to pass the Konopka family. 21 seconds or so to race leader Ewan Thomas, though. So 15 minutes to go. Let's see if he can do anything with that.
Oh, what was I saying? I know, in that moment, it's like...
We're talking about Aaron Ferrazzano.
Oh, yes. But point being, if you looked at that on paper, you would think, oh, well, he's just had a bit of a rubbish weekend. And it's so easy to do that, isn't it? Go, well, had a terrible season that season. They finished 19th overall. And it's like, well, one weekend they had food poisoning. Another weekend they were, hit off the track. Another weekend, there was mechanical failures. So it's not always to do with the caliber of driver at the same time. So it's always difficult, isn't it, when you want to kind of get an overview of someone's. And I think that's something that we get to do so much because we're so lucky to be, in the pockets basically of the drivers here, is that we might read a race a certain way, and then you speak to the driver, who drivers always have, fair enough, their own ins and outs of how they think their championship's going, or excuses. Drivers do love an excuse, but it does, but it does give you a completely different perspective of what their season actually has been like. The amount of times I go down to the pits and, like Jonathan Thomas, during qualifying for the prototype, you and Quali said, it's really weird, he just can't hook up a lap. And then we found out it was because he felt like there was a handbrake being pulled up every single time he was braking. So, yeah, it could not. My point being is, so long as he's having a lovely time.
Yeah. No, but it's funny you mention it because it was one of the first lessons I was taught at Autosport as well, when I was on their young rider academy thing that they used to have, which was they said, oh, take a look at these made up names, made up championship, and I'll take a look at these and sort of draw your conclusions from these results. And then they go, okay, right, now we're going to tell you that this guy who finished 4th missed all of practice because he was at his mum's funeral. And
that's what I mean.
all this extra context. It's the number one lesson that you can learn. I have a particular gripe about in junior Formula. There was a sort of cycle of general knowledge where people started accepting that if you're in your 3rd year of Formula 2, you're a bit of a has-been. People started saying that about Théo Pourchaire. And I said, well, hang on, you forget he came in when he was 16 years old. You can't just apply one rule to everyone. You have to take all the cases
then everyone
individually.
Wants the next people to be, the next one to be Max Verstappen. There's a lot. We were talking this last night with one of the young drivers, that rookies are not given, I think, and especially if you look at the amount of rookies and the changes that we've already seen within just Formula 1 this year, there is this thing about, we must find the next Lewis Hamilton, we must find the next Max Verstappen, we must find the next Sebastian.
Win on debut or you're done.
Exactly, and there is so much pressure on these rookies, and I get it, motorsport's tough, it's a very competitive field, and probably if you're not good enough, there is a next Max Verstappen behind you. But I do feel that we are unnecessarily cruel sometimes to the young rookies that are coming through.
Well, case in point, just as we see the two ARC Bratislava cars. Oh, the son on the inside of the father. Adam Konopka trying to find a way through on Dad. No way through there. Case in point, I think Isaac Hadjar is a really good example of that, because where did he even finish in Formula 2? Well, I'm sure we can continue the Isaac Hadjar debates later on. For now, we've got Sasha Clavad joining us in the commentary box. You'll be out racing shortly for the European Endurance Prototype Cup in the Novas. First of all, how's your weekend going?
Thank you. Very happy to be here. So, I mean, The practice session started pretty well, I would say. Obviously, I didn't know the track before coming here. I raced a bit on it on the simulator, but other than that, never driven here. So it was quite interesting, to say the least. The track is pretty difficult, I would say, compared to other tracks we've had this year so far. It's quite a mix of technical corners, and some corners you really have to be very brave, I would say. So it's not an easy track, but yeah, slowly but surely gotten better as a team. Got 3 drivers, Ben Stone and Frédéric Lacour in the team too.
And of course, we've just had Ben Stone out in this race as well with the Breton Ligier, so he must be a very busy boy. A day like today with quite a bit of heat, as Adam Konopka once again tries to get the move done on Dad. This time down into turn 7, but yeah, it's quite a hot day, and he's doing 3 races today. So how's Ben doing?
Yeah, he's doing absolutely phenomenal, because 3 races in this kind of heat, I don't know if I could do that. He's very brave. Yeah, it's quite difficult for him to balance all the races. He has to go to the briefings and everything, so he has to run around, but I mean, he does manage it well, so there he's doing pretty well. Yeah, I'm very happy for him, and I'm really impressed.
You yourself, it's your 2nd year now in the Nova?
Well, first full year, I guess. I did a few races here and there. Last year I did.
I forget how many you did. I remember speaking to you in Hockenheim. That was a great conversation. But yeah, you were very quick in the outings that you managed to do. So yeah, how different is it being able to just full focused, I know what I'm doing this year, and it's going to be these races?
I mean, last year I did 2 races at the end of the season, but I was doing another championship in the Fruno Championship, so it was an open seater, not quite as fast, so quite a big of a change. But this year I know I'm doing the whole full season, so the MP02 is the only thing I'm focused on, so it's definitely, I guess, easier to know exactly what you're doing before coming to a race. And this year I'm definitely performing better than my last 2 races of last year, which I largely think is down to the preparation and knowing exactly what I will do this season. Yeah,
that's great. And who's starting your car today?
Will be Frédéric Lacour.
Okay.
He's been starting his whole season for now, and he's done a very good job at avoiding crashes and also gaining positions. So,
which is great for coming over from GT racing.
Yeah.
In our GT Sprint Championship in the Ferrari, quite a big change for him as well, I imagine. So you've got, I suppose you as the pro in the car, you've got quite a job to bring these bronze drivers up to speed.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of a new role for me. It's my first season in this car, and kind of have to be the fastest one there, and also show the other drivers kind of a reference point. So I guess it's more responsibility, but it's definitely a good learning experience.
All right, is the charm here for Adam Konopka to drag past Miro? Yes, it is. So chance for 3rd position there with Miro Konopka moving past Mira, and it is now Lad ahead of Dad in 3rd position between the 2 ARC Bratislava cars. 6.5 minutes left on the clock. So you were saying this is one of the more difficult circuits. I guess we do have a lot of undulation here, a lot of elevation changes, a few blind corners as well. Is there anywhere particular on this track where you, I don't know, maybe sort of wincing a little bit when you go into the corner?
Well, I was kind of struggling with the first corner because you take so much speed with you. It's kind of counterintuitive to human nature. You really have to take in speed to stay on the ideal line with the great aero the car has. So you have to go faster than I would expect to the corner to stay on the ideal line. That was pretty challenging at first. Obviously, that's not the kind of thing you think about at first. But yeah, honestly, it's I really like the track, obviously because it goes up and down. Blind spots at first are pretty terrifying, I would say.
But the last corner must be quite an eye-opener when you first come around here.
Yeah, exactly. There's a little bump in the middle of the corner too. So at first it's difficult to go flat out in that corner. Because obviously you see the bump, it kind of moves the car. And obviously the first reflex is to let go of the gas. But that isn't really the best thing to do because it creates instability on the car and you might spin out. So
well, yeah, but people don't tend to think of throttle and brake in this way, but you're transferring weight when you're using the pedals, and so it sounds counterintuitive, but you want to keep your foot planted and keep the weight on the rear end, right?
Exactly.
In that moment, I had the first time in the sim I drove front-wheel drive cars. I was having a sort of similar issue where every time I had oversteer, you were supposed to plant the throttle because you would spin the front wheels up to get the back end to come back round again. But intuitively, I just couldn't get my head around that. How is driving the Nova, and how have you found? I know you did a little bit of it last year, but you're getting more comfortable with the car, and how much difference is that making for this year?
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, I love the car. It's by far the fastest thing I've driven so far, and it's pretty simple to drive compared to maybe the LMP3, I would say, because it's more forgiving. So if you do a small mistake on the braking, for example, there's more chances of you getting it back than on the LMP3. And it's also quite light for its speed, so that also helps with just the maneuverability of the whole car. And yeah, honestly, I'm really in love with this car. It's great, and really I'm very happy to do the whole season with it.
Echoing the sentiments of many of the drivers that I speak to, because we've got drivers who race LMP3 on a regular basis, some even in LMP2, but they keep coming back on their weekends off to drive the Nova because they just love it so much, because it's such a joy to drive. And I'm guessing that because it is, we say it's an LMP3 like, just minus 100 kilos. That must just make it feel like a joy to drive.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, for example, on the simulators, there's not the NP02, sorry, isn't present on there, so we have to train with the LMP3. But still, it's kind of similar to real life, so you can really see the differences with the LMP3 and the NP02. And yeah, exactly. I'm not surprised that many drivers like it, because really it's a pleasure to drive, and yeah, very good car.
I think the Novas, this is really the only place, sort of the primary place where they are raced. I know there's someone's planning a sports car championship with the Novas as well, more like a sort of global series, the details of which off the top of my head I don't remember, but currently it's really here, and then the prototype winter series, you might get a couple of them there, but yeah, the iRacing, if you're listening, we need a Nova. We need a Nova in iRacing. Exactly. And what are the other ones? Assetto Corsa won't do one, will they? Let's see, maybe Le Mans Ultimate will stick one in there as a sort of guest car. That'd be quite nice. Although I'm not sure they like the fact that the Nova sort of competes with the LMP3, to be honest with you. But yeah, iRacing, get on it. We want that car. You'll make everyone very, very happy. Whoa! Spin for Martin Bohm in the MG Sound Studio Ginetta. So Sasha, that was coming out of turn number 11. You got a big dip down the hill. I imagine the rear end gets quite floaty around there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite difficult. Already in the NP02, you kind of feel that obviously the end is floaty, but in the LMP3, it's obviously even more the case. So yeah, it's a difficult corner.
Oh, there he goes. It was over the curbing, and luckily, the only thing he hit was the grass, and the only thing he hurt was his pride. So about to be lapped shortly by Ewan Thomas, I'd have thought. Lead gap has been coming down, with Lawrence Hoare doing another fastest lap of the race, 1:38.6, but We are now on to the final lap of the race. The gap 10.5 seconds, so the 17-year-old Briton should be safe, provided he doesn't drop it on this final lap. Getting the blue flags now is Martin Baum ahead of him. Again, shouldn't cause too many problems. Sasha, remind everyone which car number you're in. Which one should they look out for in the next race today?
Oh, definitely the 25. We had quite a bit of difficulties in the qualifying, especially with the traffic. It's something you have to get used to. So we're starting 21st.
I was just about to look for my grids. Thanks for that.
No worries. So yeah, we're starting 21st, and like in the past races, we usually end up gaining quite a few places. So definitely a car to look out for.
All right, absolutely. Right, Sasha, we're about to come to the end, so we'll let you go and get on with preparations for the European Endurance Prototype Cup. Thank you very much for coming in and having a chat with us, though.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
All right, good luck for the race.
Thank you.
Okay, meanwhile, Ewan Thomas is coming through the last couple of corners, and he will take victory once again in the European Sprint Prototype Cup. The first race of the weekend in Mugello, and it is Ewan Thomas and Ben Stone for the number 26 Breton Racing Ligier crew who take the victory. Ben Stone in anticipation of starting in the European Endurance Prototype Cup in a couple of hours. A great start to his day, though. It's Lawrence Hoare and John Brownson for the DKR Engineering. Duqueine. Who finish in second place. And it will be Adam Konopka that completes the podium in the number 4 ARC Bratislava Ligier. Miro Konopka, not too far behind him as well. Martin Baum already across the line, a lap down after that late spin in the MG Sound Studio Ginetta. Well, Ewan Thomas continues to gain experience and speed and success in LMP3 machinery. Remember, only his second year of car racing, having come over from the British Mazda MX-5 Super Cup Championship. And hopefully on his way to a Le Mans Cup seat next year. Ben Stone, of course, no stranger to success in LMP3, but good start to his day as he then goes to join the Racing Spirit of Le Mans squad. Ewan Thomas brings it into pit lane. Pulls up into the P1 spot. Lawrence Hoare already joining him down there. Well done, Ewan, is the message from the Breton Racing team. I think Ben was very happy with that one as well.
Wow, my boy. Good job. Good job. Yeah, very good. Very happy with that. Huh?
Always wonderful to see the families, the friends, the team members who celebrate with the drivers. Oh, Adam Konopka finally joining them in Parc Fermé. confusion as to which of the ARC Bratislava cars was actually on the podium. Well, it's Ben Stone and Ewan Thomas that take the victory ahead of Lawrence Hoare and John Brownson. Alan Konopka on the podium, Miro Konopka just behind him, and Martin Bohm in 5th position. We'll shortly be going green for the main event of today, the 6 Hours of Portimão in the European Endurance Prototype Cup, round 3 in 2025. Be sure to join us for that. That is going to be an exciting race. 26 cars taking to the grid. We'll come back for the build-up to that one in just a moment.
We got